Okay, Mark, we've got 2 matches left. We've got 2 to choose from, and these are both the championship matches. I would like to go with... I think I know what they're going to do, but I'm going to go with the WWE World Championship, the SmackDown Championship, between Bray Wyatt, the champion, against the Viper, Randy Orton. Let's look at the feud first, because I think out of all these matches we've looked at so far, perhaps not including the one match we haven't done, this is the only one with a proper feud.
Long build-up.
In theory.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been great. At times it was very good. At times it's been bad. The problem is sometimes it doesn't make sense. It goes back to the unsanctioned match type theory of earlier. If you can do an unsanctioned match in WWE, why hasn't Daniel Bryan wrestled yet? You know, so you have to have some sort of logic going through it. It was a weird mix putting Randy Orton with them ever. You never thought that they were going to be together for a long time. You knew they were setting up for something. When he rejected the title match after the Rumble, you felt like you didn't feel like you were being a smart ass by saying, I know that what the match is going to be. Yeah. I did think for a period, 3-way with AJ Styles in there as well. Yeah. I don't think that would have been the right booking decision either. They've done some good stuff with the promos. The earth all over him, you know, Sister Abigail's ashes and stuff. Little bit weird. I didn't feel... Maybe it's because they've done some awful stuff in the past, but I didn't feel very comfortable with the ashes type thing. You know, Bray Wyatt is... Here's the thing I do like. Yeah. Everyone said and cursed the WWE for, you know, pushing Roman Reigns too fast, and the smart, you know, people on the dirt sheets and stuff are saying, take your time with Bray Wyatt, build him up slowly, make him into this character. He could be a main eventer for years. Has it been perfect? No, not at all. But did they take it slow and build him up? Yeah. And have they put him against a seasoned veteran that has got good ring work and good mic work? Yes. Are they too similar in character? The Viper and the Twisted? Yeah. Maybe, maybe.
So funny you should say that. I actually think they've taken too long to build him up, because they built him up and they took him down, and then for some reason, from a storyline perspective, they won the tag team between the two of them, him and Orton, and what, in my opinion, and again, I don't like fancy booking, but I'm not talking about booking, whatever, but they should have built him up as this cult leader where
they could have got a bigger stable.
They could have had a massive stable, and they could have actually built him up to be this cult leader,
bit like
powerhouse.
Bit like the ministry back in the day.
Yeah, the ministry. And he actually had, what you ended up with is Orton, who was part of the Wyatt family, and I use that term very loosely.
Yeah, just dressed as Orton.
But there were 2 people. The family was Harper.
Here's the standout guy in this.
Wyatt.
The standout guy in this whole feud, for me, is Harper. He's come out of this the best.
And, saying that...
Not on the card. You can't have everyone on the card. He's too big to go into the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, because too big physically. Because you've got these big guys that you're trying to set up.
No, sorry, mate. Well, who are we talking about right at the beginning? Who do you think is going to win? Braun Strowman, Luke Harper, they're pretty much the same.
Yeah,
they're the same.
I think they are, because they were in the Wyatt family too.
Yeah.
I think they now see Harper as better than that, and I think he's a stage above that now. I think you'll see something happen with him in the match, and I don't know whose side he's going to take. I hope that it's Wyatt's side, because he still fits with it. Yeah. But then I hope he perhaps turns on Wyatt at the end, because he shouldn't still be the number 2 to someone else. If you think about the kind of people, I know we don't want to jump to conclusions of matches, but you think about the kind of people that are at Mania, and you think about the stage that Orton's at in his career, I see a long run for a Bray Wyatt. I see them sticking with him for a long time.
Yeah. So just going back onto this feud, this is something that I wanted to bring up. They had this whole thing where Orton was loyal to Bray Wyatt, and he was his lackey or his family member, or he's from your family, right?
You mean like Daniel Bryan was for a bit?
Right, but they 3 weeks before WrestleMania, 3 weeks, not the go home show, not the night of WrestleMania, and I'm a big believer and a big lover, and it's not going to happen again. It's not like when you and I were growing up of surprises, surprise turns or moves
or the double face heel turn, the Bret Hart and the Stone Cold one.
The last shocking thing that I remember happening, and I could be wrong, was when Cena returned at the Rumble. After
that's pretty good.
Yeah,
that was a long time ago now.
But that's the last thing I can remember because they
it depends how invested you are. Some people would say Finn Balor debuting was. They do it with debuts. They don't do it so well with returns.
Yes.
They get the debuts quite well now. They do, they do them at the right places, but they don't necessarily always get the return.
But away from this, as something that's part of the storyline, this was a turn that should have been done when he burnt the whole house down or whatever, the sanctuary or the sanctum. Yeah. Orton should have done it. The go home show. They never
do it on the go home though. If you look at Raw and SmackDown this week, they're pretty boring shows. They normally are because their focus is already on Mania. Also, it is too late to sell tickets in person for access and for all of that stuff.
It doesn't matter because people will always go to WrestleMania. It's WrestleMania.
That's true. That is true.
There have been times where some of the numbers have been
questionable.
Yeah, questionable.
In the Superdome or Silverdome, depending on whether you ask. The last show's always a washout. It is. They don't think that the last possible moment is the time to do it. And I sort of agree with that. I think you should have things in place for your biggest show of the year before that, especially for your title match.
But they could have had something in place. They could have done a 3-way match between Wyatt and Orton and AJ Styles, and then everyone would talk about it.
Then it's too late to get AJ into another program. You mean
for Mania? So they should have done a 3. And again, I don't want to fancy, but they could have done. Not they should have done.
Could have done a lot of things. They're right not to have.
Imagine a 3-way tie going into WrestleMania. And everyone they know that the turn is coming. They know, but there's still that element of surprise and what if. And I honestly just think
here's my fantasy booking moment.
Go on.
You can't do a turn in that match if you do the Roman Reigns turn in the Undertaker match. Has to be the biggest turn on the card. Has to be that one.
But then there won't be a turn because it'll be Taker defeating Reigns.
Well, maybe, but we're going back. But what I'm saying is, you can overbook these things. You go back to Vince Russo days and these things get overbooked. This will be a good match. Orton walks through matches, but he doesn't walk through Mania matches. Bray Wyatt, that is just an outstanding wrestler. And just imagine they're going to do this in the dark. They are, because imagine all the fireflies and all the lights around that. Yeah. That'll be a shot they use for 20 years now. That'll be my guess is the ramp is going to be a screen like it is on Raw and SmackDown. It's going to look amazing.
So go on then, who's going to win this one?
Bray Wyatt to retain, and then the question will be who he starts going up against going forward. But this will bookend their feud. I don't know how much there is left for Randy Orton, to do towards the top of the card.
And where does Luke Harper fit in? If at all.
I could see a scenario where he is involved in some way, and then they have a Bray Wyatt Luke Harper feud for a bit, but it's not going to be a big feud going into one of the big pay-per-views, but they've got all these SmackDown pay-per-views. And eventually they will have to move Luke Harper away from this whole program to get the best out of him, and they should do because he's a big guy. He's not bad on the mic actually. When he's pretty good, and he can wrestle. So
cool. Finally, we made it to the end of the WrestleMania preview.
Yeah, just be happy it isn't now dark outside.
So, the last match that we are going to look at, the last match on the card, and it might not be the last match on the card, but it's WWE Universal Championship between Brock Lesnar and the current title holder, Goldberg. Again, let's look at this from a feud point of view. How's the feud been for you?
Build-up's lost a bit of steam,
but
it's going to lose a bit of steam because it's been a long build-up. I think people are clocking on to the fact that they're never going to put Goldberg in a very long match. So you lose a little bit of gas. The surprise they could do for this one is have it go 10 minutes or more. That would be, people would be surprised. Goldberg doesn't need to throw wrestling moves around. They can brawl. They're going to land a couple of finishers each. That takes time. Heyman gets involved. They do some stuff there. Just make the match.
This could have a run out.
Yeah, but who?
Yeah.
Whoever they pick as the next Heyman guy hasn't worked. Yeah. Just ask Curtis Axel. So the build-up's been good. I mean, I loved the first Goldberg win, the quick one. I loved that. Some people hated it. Yeah, straight away you knew he can't really wrestle. They could book him for 20 years like this because he only has to wrestle 4 minutes at a time every 3 months.
If that.
Yeah, you know what I mean? That includes his walkout and he comes from the dressing room. So yeah, the match, the build-up's good. The Bray Wyatt thing, match was a throwaway match, but they needed to have, a match to get the,
like momentum building, I guess.
Yeah, momentum building.
Or carrying it on.
Yeah.
So the issue that I've got is that, with both Goldberg and Lesnar being part-timers, because they're not around as much, the reason why this feud has lost a bit of steam is because they're not around and there's not as much that feels like there could have been done between each other. So, you could have had... I am all for it. In fact, one of my favourite things is feuds that are drawn out. These long storylines. You could have had so many things with this. You could have had, Lesnar come out and just, destroy people week in, week out, and then...
Well, except he's a part-timer, but you...
Right, exactly, that's my point.
What you could have done, and what they didn't do here and they have done in the past, is have Paul Heyman appear when Lesnar doesn't. You could have done that, so there could have been some build. They've done it a bit,
a few times.
But they could have done some more build, with the Advocate. With Goldberg, I think what would have been fun is to pull out some of the old timers that Goldberg beat in his run, and Paul Heyman get somebody else to beat them in the ring and go, you see Goldberg, even this Joe Schmo, Rusev would have been a good use for it, although he's injured.
Yeah.
Even Rusev can beat Hugh Morris.
Yeah.
Can't be Hugh Morris, he got fired for racism. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even so-and-so can beat that. And every week they do that. And they could have, a bit like the Legend Killer thing that they did a few years ago. That could have been fun. But, they didn't. Slow build. We know Goldberg's not going to work a long match. We know he can't wrestle. He is surviving on the fact that he genuinely comes across as a pretty good guy.
Yeah.
Comes across as a nice guy that's doing it for the right reasons, and he's doing it for the fans. And you've got a whole generation of people that booed him out of the building in the Attitude Era. That are cheering him because he's come back, and he's doing something that's fun.
Yeah.
And you're not. The problem with this feud is it's not fun. They're treating it as a really serious thing. It's not like when Sting came back and he sort of felt like, okay, this is a spectacle match. And it's not. This is for the title, and it's against Brock Lesnar, who can hurt people intentionally or otherwise. Goldberg's 53, 54.
No, he's 50.
Yeah, 50.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Well, he's in his 50s. I think
certainly in his 50s. Lesnar is not the wrestler he was back in the day. Back in the day at all, and doesn't want to be. So yeah, here's what's going to happen: is there'll be big intros. There'll be a long entrance for Goldberg, which it justifies. A Mania entrance. It'll be a spectacle. They'll do the slow build up. Here's something that hasn't been spoken about very much. When was the last time these two met at WrestleMania?
Well, it was in
WrestleMania 20. WrestleMania 20. What was the circumstances? The circumstances were both guys leaving. Close enough to being part-time. Okay, they were leaving on this occasion. What happened during that match?
They got booed out of the
out
stadium.
the building at Madison Square Garden. So, and they did that whole running the ropes, banging into each other.
It was an awful match.
Awful match. And they stuck to the match plan, but they have to do something different, or they have to totally acknowledge that that's what happened and do the same start. I don't think they'll get booed out of the building, but I don't think that it's going to be a classic, is it?
Okay, so we've got 2 part-timers, and one of them's got the belt. So one of them has to retain, or the other one has to win the belt.
Yeah,
then what?
You don't know what's going on backstage and what's not, nor do I. I think they'd like to keep Goldberg around for a bit longer. I think that he's proved to be a success from a merchandise perspective, from a TV viewership perspective. Lesnar, I think, is still signed through Mania and out the other side. They've done Lesnar with the belt being a part-timer before, and it worked okay. It was okay. They actually, it was quite nice in some respects, put the focus on other people, and then he came back, and it was special. I think if Goldberg is going, and then let's say next year he goes into the Hall of Fame, just speculation, then he's got to lose. He's got to get brutalised, by Lesnar and taken out, because then you could have him come back in another capacity at some point, and they could have him on TV but not wrestling, which would protect him, because he can talk. Yeah, he's pretty good. He's pretty. He gets the crowd going. He's not in long, drawn-out promos.
He's kind of botched things up a few times.
Well, he did one that was awful. I thought he had a stroke halfway through it. But the rest has been pretty good.
Yeah.
So if he's going, he's got to lose. If he's staying, he could retain. Who will get cheered and who will get booed? I sort of think they'll both get cheered. It should, in some respects, it's a heel versus heel match, and in some respects, it's a face versus face match.
Yeah.
It's going to be really interesting to see the dynamic where Heyman fits into it. I don't see a WrestleMania where Heyman doesn't cut a promo at some point, even if he comes out earlier in the show and just says, "I want to warn all of you, you're about to watch an annihilation, a dissection, a massacre from the beast." But look, they'll love that. I think you're going to disagree with me. I think this will close the show.
I do disagree with you.
I know you do. It's too big a spectacle to have anything follow it.
So very, very quickly, who's going to win?
I truly, and this doesn't happen often in wrestling, have no idea.
Interesting.
That makes it good to watch, though,
Yeah,
right?
I guess.
My interest in this is how long it goes and what it looks like. I think Lesnar will win.
And then the question after that is not who's next, but what's next. That brings us to the end of our WrestleMania preview. It has been. Don't worry, we're here. We're at the end. It's been quite a ride, quite an ultimate thrill ride.
I feel like the Big Show getting to the end of the WrestleMania round. Exhausted.
I feel like the Big Show getting to the end of his entrance. But listen, Mark, thank you so much for joining me on Rose Ed. It's really been great to have you on and give your opinion. Just very, very quickly, before we wrap things up, what is the one thing you are most looking forward to for WrestleMania 33?
The one thing I'm most looking forward to is seeing the outcome of the Undertaker-Roman Reigns thing. The match will be awful, but the outcome I would like to see. But there is one special moment for every WrestleMania, which shouldn't be what you're looking forward to. But if you've never watched wrestling before, and you have no interest at all, do one thing, and you can get it online or whatever. Wait until they do that, Welcome to WrestleMania, and watch that set, and watch the fireworks, and watch the crowd, and watch everything, and you cannot deny that this is Super Bowl big, if not bigger than the Super Bowl as far as a spectacle to watch. It's different from anything else you'll ever see.
Absolutely, and I really cannot wait to sit down. I don't know if I'll be able to watch it in one sitting, but I will certainly certainly give it a good go. So listen, thank you very much. Once again, Mark, thank you so much for being part of Rosed. Thank you very much for pressing the play button. I know it hasn't been as short a sitting as we normally do here on Rosed. But Mark, perhaps maybe you and I can sit down in the future and we'll look at the wrestling landscape as a whole. That would be really, really exciting. So once again, thank you for watching Rosed. Don't forget, as always, you can follow me at Adam Zoltie on Twitter. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, leave a comment below, positive or negative, face or heel, it doesn't really matter. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next episode. Bye.